Good morning, TJ. How are you?
I am good. Thank you. How are you? Of
Very good. Thanks for joining me.
course, of course. I've been
Yeah.
watching all the other interviews you've done with some of my friends and cohorts around, and it's been amazing the stories. And yeah, it just brings back so many memories of just how everything got started. So, anyway,
Now it's your turn. Tell us your story.
I was born in Albuquerque, 1971. I was adopted when I was 2 days old. I I did some sports. I did ski team. That's where I met the Boydens, George and Chris Boyden.
Okay.
My younger brothers kept going on with that. I was in other stuff. I was a gymnast, and I did skateboarding. Growing up more, that's why my knees are all fucked up. I started doing parkour and jumping off of roofs and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Uh, Which
I
high
went to
which high
Manal
school?
school. Manal. I was supposed to go to
Manal.
Valley. I was supposed to go to Valley, and I had like back in the everyone's uses this now, but everyone's like, oh, I have ADHD or whatever the fuck. Back in the day, I had ADD, and they gave me a Ritalin, and they gave me all this bullshit, and it's like I stopped taking it because I started looking at kind of like what is this doing to me? Like I can't concentrate in the classroom. I sit there and I'm like doing my shit, and then the air conditioner comes on. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a spaceship launching, or someone like just sounds, and just so in my mind just goes, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, time's up, and I'm like, I only answered one question. But Manila helped me out because of the smaller classrooms, and anyways, whatever. And then I went to school in Boston, a fine arts major. Everything else in between that is the punk rock story.
So before you go there, tell me about Boston.
I went there in 1990. I left here. I went there, got my degree. I actually it's 4.5 years. So I came back in 1995. I came back in 94, but went back, graduated. So it was like 4.5 years. Came back in 95, and then that's when my story started about music and everything. Growing up, didn't have a driver's license. I've always been like, looking for something else. And everything's just boring to me as a gymnast. Everything's just like that. And then one day I heard a song on the radio. No, it wasn't the radio because they didn't play that shit on the radio. It was a song.
No.
I forget what it was. It was, I think it was the Plasmatics. I was like, what the fuck is this? Because you have to realize when I was growing up, you had like my older brother and then two younger brothers, and like their music, this is before that rap bullshit. It was like just I wasn't into music. I wasn't into anything, and I started getting kind of into fashion and stuff. Like, oh, that's cool. I'll never wear that. And then next thing you know, I'm wearing bleached jeans and fucking torn T-shirt, and I'm like, all right. Start putting eyeliner on and smearing it. My mom and dad were like, what the fuck? My mom says, I drop you off at school normal. And
Well,
then
did she know school was
I go in the
prison?
bathroom and I take this girl's eyeliner, I smash it, put it on, and I would put on different shit and go to class. And everyone's like, ah! But can I tell you one thing? I graduated in 1990. And after that, all the Manal students now are wearing uniforms. They're like,
Oh,
I showed up to class one day with bleached hair, and they're like, what the fuck? And it's a parochial school, It was I was growing up, I was born into Episcopalian, and I consider myself a pagan Jew with Celtic undertones.
wow. I'm gonna have to dissect that later.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I don't even know what that means. But honestly, so after that, like I was kind of new wave, you know. And I went to the everything. Here's where everything started, and I don't care what all these guys say. Tommy Bottoms, all these people, everyone. Richard, probably not everyone. It for me, it started at the Big Apple,
It
and
started the
it
Big
was
Apple.
yes. Has anyone talked about that yet?
Edna. Edna
In this Greg,
started.
she was one
Yeah,
of my
Ed.
girlfriends.
Really?
for a little bit. For a little bit. Oh my God, Ed, this red. Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And so we go to Big Apple. It was like Thursdays was New Wave night, and then Friday, and then my mom would really let me, I had to get a ride and la la, and we go and be like Big Apple, and just we started meeting people like Ben Adams. I started meeting like, all these people, and it was crazy. It's like things started to evolve. And so later on, the Big Apple is like, okay, that's just kind of dumb, And it's like, so what do we do after that? And then all of a sudden, there's a show somewhere, and it's like in a record store. I'm not going to name the record store because I don't know if I get, but oh my God, there's a show. And I walked into the show, and I'm young. I'm like 14. I don't have my license yet. My friend Luke Schmaltz. We hung out forever because I met. So, anyways, we went to the show, and all of a sudden I was like, what the fuck is this? This is the best thing in the whole world. Are you kidding me? Like everything else was like big concerts and all this and like and then all of a sudden it's like these motherfuckers are running around in circles and like punching each other in the face and going, yes, can I buy you a beer? And if we just no beers, I mean we were young,
No,
but
but it was
there was
fun
beers.
because they
Oh my
know
God. And
you were buying
so
the
I opened
piss.
up and I always told my mom was like, what are you guys doing tonight? I said, we're gonna go to a show. So she thought we were going to a movie, but we are going to a punk rock show
Shame on
at Bow
you.
Wow Records.
Yeah.
And then I see like I'll start seeing these bands play, and I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck all these people are, like whatever. And then this band comes on, like Pepsi Generation, Ian Parks, and I'm
Okay.
like, this band's fucking cool. And they were kind of like dicks to me, like everyone, a lot of people in the scene like always dicks to me. But I kept coming back. Even in Boston, I had a guy one time. I kept coming back to Harvard Square, and he's like, yeah, you keep coming back to fucking Harvard Square, dude. He's like, we like you, man. He's like, blah blah blah. And I was like, and I was always growing up in Albuquerque. I went to parties by myself. I found out where shit was happening, and I went,
I just
and
did
then
it.
and now you call it networking, but I was like, all right, that guy. But to start something real, let me tell you something. Um, Years and years and years ago, we had house parties. We couldn't get into bars. No bands are really playing, and if they were playing house parties. And I'm talking about bands now that are huge, but they were playing like in storefronts, like over here, and they were playing like no effects. I seen them in the backyard. Green Day, seen them in the backyard. Fucking, I wake up in the mornings and like there's band members like underneath my
Sleeping on the
table
floor.
sleeping, and I'm like going to work. I'm like, oh, lock the door when you leave. You can't do that shit anymore.
No.
But so my thing is Luke Schmaltz and you know Luke Schmaltz.
Yep.
He
I had.
he did an
I love
interview. I
talking to
love that
Luke.
dude. He's
I've really
funnier than fuck.
enjoyed that.
And if Luke is watching this, I was gonna pull out a corn dog, but I don't have a corn dog with me. But let me tell you something. Luke and I hung out. I met Luke Schmaltz. My dad was a dentist, but he also had some prop. I don't know, but his mom, my dad knew each other, and one day we just met, and we were both on skateboards, and then we just hooked up. And this is like I don't even know. This is shit. This is like 80 something, and it's the best day of my life. I met that dude, and we just hooked up. And Luke had a car. Luke could drive it, so Luke got his car. So
Oh.
he had this Camaro.
Oh.
He had this Camaro, and it was so cool. It was like the shitty seats, and then like we drive, and Luke took us. There's so many stories, but one story I got to tell you real quick because this lady's staring at me, wondering what I'm doing. But Luke, one time we were going somewhere, we're at Montgomery, and in the back there's a hole in the car, and you can see the street. And this one dude in the back, I'm not going to name his name, but he had to pee really bad. I think it was
No.
Gatewood. I think he had to pee. Yeah, so he just sucked his
Yeah.
dick
Yeah.
and he peed. And Luke's just driving. He's like, "Oh, dude, what the fuck?" Because Luke would freak out. But anyways, after that, like life went on, and then I went to Boston, and then I came back. So I have to say one thing.
Say as many things as you like.
No one's talked about something that I saw. one night I was at a house party and I heard this band playing, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like that young. I'm like, I'll look at the girls. I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden, I hear this like band playing. My God. So there was Jerry's Kids. There was Jerry's Kids. There was,
Okay.
I consider one of Albuquerque's first punk rock bands. I could be wrong. No one hold it against me. But like Kevin, anyways, this band of Hellcat started, and I heard him. I went and I saw this band playing, and the singer and Hellcat, Mike Prothero, was like
That's
just this dude with bleached white flat top. And he was like, crazy little girls from a Calabasas, get in your rabbit and go, girl, go. And I was like, oh! Like I freaked out. And that's what made me pick up a goddamn guitar. I still can't play the guitar. I can play three chords, and I could rip those three chords like a motherfucker and maybe throw in a little ding, but the other guy can do the stuff. I don't care. I just want to say, and then after that, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Real quick, back in the day, we would have parties outside up in the heights before it was all developed. There was a place called LA Dam, and that was my thing, like Friday night. And it was weird because like you just drove up. I remember driving up to Paseo. There's nothing here at this time, and then you go up, you pull in this area. It was like a dam that they have for the flood, and there's a fire going on, and there's people from everywhere, La Cueva, Manzano, every school. And so at that beginning, in the beginning it was crazy because the first time I ever went there was a Jeep parked with the keg, and there was like cups, and people are selling like $3 for cups. Here, $3. And me, I think it was Luke behind me. Actually, it was Luke behind me. He was driving, and we're sitting there, and this dude comes up. This guy comes up. And he goes, "How much they charge you for those cups?" That's like $3. And we're just dumb dark skater kids with their hair like this and little spike long bangs. And all of a sudden, that dude takes my cup, he throws it on the ground, and I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And he gets up on the fucking Jeep, and these other dudes come up, and they take the keg,
okay. I know where
and
this
then
is
they
going.
walk up the hill with it, and all these jock motherfuckers are sitting there trying to fight, and these guys had a line, like it was a battlefield. And then there was people. I don't know if it's cool to name names or anything, but there was some people, and there
You
was some
name names.
people.
I get to bleep them out. I get to hear
Okay,
them though.
so he wasn't there that day, I don't think. And then all of a sudden they took that keg and they just walked up the hill and no one did anything about it. And then I was
No?
like, I looked at Luke and I was like, where were those guys? So after that, it was just like everything. We went find parties and stuff, and they were the PVs, they were the party Vikings. And I'm sure you've heard about that. And those guys were cool, but we were like the younger, like kind of like generation, I guess, or whatever. But we hung out, and like it was tough. It was tough to get into like some crowds. I got some shit from other people. Um, after a while, it was like, okay, let's start doing the skinhead thing. And so I did that for about maybe 10 years after that. And it was in the beginning, it was like this new thing. And it was cool because I understood where it came from, and it was funny because right when I got into it, immediately that's when all the assholes got into it, and so everyone looked at me and thought I was a racist. And like, really? You know where skinheads came from? They came from fucking black Jamaican little kids like this big listening to reggae. And then all of a sudden they dressed a certain way. And here's the thing: people don't understand. Skinheads in England, and I could be wrong, but I've done this all my life research. Skinheads in England actually they were the younger brothers of the mods.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
you had the mod movement that listed in Northern Soul, and all of a sudden they started getting into the Jamaican ska, and you had the Jamaican kids come over, and then all of a sudden they blended, and all those fuckers did is dance and listen to goddamn reggae, and that was
I
it. And
changed
that's
the
what
world.
And that's when Skinner was born. And then it became into England, like the working class kids. They were like, you know, these mods were like wearing their suits and shit. Let's start wearing something a little more, you know, whatever.
Blue
But the
collar.
thing is, the media got a hold of that. And of course, if you're, let me tell you something about this. This is my thought. But if you're gonna be a fucking asshole group, and you look at like, what do we want to look like? How are we gonna do this? They obviously went to the skinheads, right? Because it has that look. But the thing
Scary.
is it's scary. But the thing is, the true skinheads are wearing that shit. They're wearing like suits, boots, and like whatever. And they listen to like music. All they want to do is dance. They like their fashion. They like music. They like, they like girls or guys, whatever. I don't give a fuck. But let me tell you something. After that problem, like when I went to Boston, it was like a weird thing for me. I
Oh.
got there.
Were
I
you
got there. I got there, and I was like, TJ motherfucking me. And my school is a different story. Like I went to school, I like did my shit. No one understood me, but every weekend I would go into Harvard Square, is where I hung out, and Harvard Square at Cambridge, and then Alston, and that was the shit. I was at home. We'd be
that
drinking our
was
rooftops. We were drinking our rooftops. We were making fun of Hare Krishnas, and like that's what we did then. I mean, I don't make fun of them anymore. I don't see them anymore.
yeah, what happened to those guys?
And shit started getting fucked up there too. And so I'm sitting there in the pit in Harvard Square. They now dismantled it, and I'm waiting for a brick. A buddy of mine supposed to send me one of the bricks from the T station that stops out there, and it's the Harvard Square. And so you had your homeboys here, you had your skinheads here, you had your dumbass skinheads here that got ran out all the time. Then you got your punkers, then you got your street kids. And the street kids, I mean, it was all a thing every day. It was amazing. And everyone got along. Sometimes there'd be a skirmish, and you had this pit. It was like a circle, and everyone hung out there. And this was in 90s, 91, 92, 93, 94. I left in 95. In 95 or 94, I stopped going in there because it started getting crazy there too. Like you're on the subway getting back to school and someone sees you and they're like, "Oh, you're a Nazi," punches you in the
Yeah.
face. What can you do? So, I grew my hair out again. I still listen to the same shit. I love it. It's all punk rock. I love ska. It's my favorite music. But I'm a punker at heart. I listen to all kinds of music. All kinds of music. Like Jesus and Mary Chain is one of my favorite bands. I listen to everything. But here's what's funny is all those bands have the same fucking chord progression as the Ramones. So how many Ramones does it take to screw a light bulb?
You tell me.
One,
You
two,
say it.
three, four.
Yeah.
What do you call skinhead at the bottom of the ocean?
What?
Oyster. So, anyways, after that, I came back. I started a band in Boston called the Skeggs. And this guy, Brian Bacon, he was a drummer. And oh my God, he only learned how to play drums by listening to Rancid, no effects. So he couldn't sit there and go, he couldn't do that. He's like, and he was a genius. And so we started that band. They went on. And I moved back, I graduated, came back to Albuquerque, and then we started rolling for 45. And it was this guy, Joe Bryan, Stammer. He's a tattoo artist now. He lived with me for a while, and oh my God, I'd come home from work and he'd be sitting there in his room, like just drawing sketches stuff, and now he's got his own business, tattoo
Wh-
artist. Can I
which
can I
tattoo
name
shop
it?
is it? Please, yeah.
Red light tattoo.
Red light tattoo. That's your
Yeah,
spot.
Joe
Okay.
Bryan Sam. I haven't got a tattoo from him yet, but he's was in my band or our band, and then we had Ryan King, who's our bass player. He was he passed away years ago.
Mm.
Good guy, good guy. Loved the scene. We called him Mudflap because it's based out like Mudflap, but he was awesome. We loved Ryan. After that, I was just because I would always sing in bands, like a random band that would come up. And here's the thing, I'm trying to start a book called The Random Passport, or no, Backstage Passport, or all stage access. And it's about my life
Ooh.
growing up here in Boston, even in Texas, about getting into shows. I think I paid for maybe 10 shows my whole life.
So it's a story about you sneaking in the back door?
In Boston, we did shit like carry amps in for the band and hide out in the bathroom for like 2 hours.
Okay.
I've done it, and that was when I was like maybe 19 or 20. Here in Albuquerque, you just network and just get in, and like I had such a good run. Now everyone's gonna see this, they're gonna charge me, but I had a good run. I knew people, but that was my thing. And I've gotten into shows, major shows, got on their guest list and not show up. And the reason why is because medical stuff or just, drink too much in the day. But I've got into every show I want to get into that's a big band for free. And sometimes they didn't show up, but I had that, and that's gonna be my like that's my thing. Like I've seen that band 1,000 times, but to know I'm on your guest list,
I didn't
that's
show
so
up.
awesome. People are gonna be like, well, someone else could have gone there and enjoyed it. I've been in a
No,
fucking
whatever.
guest list. No, I've had fucking passes in my pocket, media
Not
passes,
gone to the
all kinds of
show.
passes for Bad Religion. And I was leaving one day. They just started. I got my merch, and I had all these passes. That's finding random people, like random cute ladies. And I was like, hey, you want a Bad Religion pass? And they're like, ah! And then just give them out and then go do my shit. I've heard the song. I've listened to them. And here's what I loved about Bad Religion, which is my favorite band in the whole world, is when I went back out to the parking lot, you could hear them playing and people coming in the show, not just one or two, but a wave of people coming to the show are singing the
We're
song.
coming
You
in.
see it. Like, that's the thing about Bad Religion fans. They know every word and they know every cut, every break, whatever. And it's a different entity. But to get away from that, to talk about Albuquerque, oh my God, I got stories.
I can't wait.
And all these people, everyone that's been on the Richard Agee, he had the punk house. Richard Agee had the house on Columbia. He had the Stanford house. He had the house on I think it was Garfield or something. But in that time, I met this guy, Chris Bigger, and we really don't talk right now anymore. But he was my like best friend. Like he was like, and he also helped me because some people were assholes to me. A lot of people were
That's not a.
assholes to me, like
Sorry
assholes.
about.
Sure. And then my friend Chris, and then he was like kind of like even Richard. They were kind of like they were kind of like don't fuck with this guy, don't fuck with this
Oh,
guy. And for some reason they liked me. And a
I
lot of
can
people
see
didn't.
why.
A lot of people didn't like me though. A lot of people didn't like me because of where I came from. A lot of people didn't like me because they thought I was like just doing this for I don't know. But here's the deal. I like all kinds of music. I'm a punk rocker. I only play punk rock, but I listen to everything. I love old ska, old reggae. I love Jesus and Mary Chain. I love sometimes electronic music when I'm fucking driving as fast as I can. And that's another thing in my life is what I like to do is open road rally races. But the
Really?
punk rock thing is like stick with me forever. And they're like, you can't be a punker because you got me. And like, you know what? You're only as punk as you feel. Some guy in a mohawk tell me I'm not a punk rocker. Go for it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I could wear
Yeah,
a
but
pink
that.
cowboy. I could wear a pink cowboy suit every day. Every day I go out, wear a pink cowboy suit with diamonds and carry a briefcase with dolls in it. That's fucking punk rock. Not just dress them,
Absolutely.
not just dressed up with the mohawk. Mohawks are done,
No.
bro. I don't care. But
Well, yeah,
but
that's
here's the
not it.
thing. Here's the thing about to me. Here's the thing about punk rock. You don't care.
They
It's
don't give
like
a
you don't
fuck.
care what people think. There's some people that are like, oh, that guy's wearing this. We need to wear that. Oh, that guy's listening to that. I need to listen to that. No, listen to what you want to. I'll listen to fucking a song by Lawrence Welk and then smash the TV. But I'll listen to it. I'll listen to
Heck yeah.
anything.
I listen
And
to
I add
and
everything into my music.
do you think that punk rock tempo just spoke to you? I mean, you seem like a pretty intelligent guy with a fast moving brain. I would think that the plasmatics really were the first thing to ever get your attention.
Well, here's the thing to me. this is my take on it, and I'm sure people are gonna be like me. My take on punk rock is it's a reaction. It's not an
That's an
action.
interesting.
It's not an
Yeah.
action. It's not an action. An action would be come out and be like, yeah, 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 action. To me, punk rock was like, this shit is out here. What the fuck are we listening to? What are you talking about? No one gathered love and dove and all this, but what are we talking about? Punk rock, the guy could sit there and talk about stomping on an amp. He could be like, oh, there's an ant on my foot, there's an ant on my foot, and I killed it, and now I'm, you know, and you can make fucking start a pit and have a whole riot just from a song about stepping on an ant. That to me is like, whoa, that's so amazing. And it's better
Because
than
it,
listening like, she said she loved me, but I did every time. Ooh, ooh. Fuck that. I want to be like, fuck off. But
I can see why that would fit you well.
I
But I
just
have
love the
theories.
music.
I have theories. People that like really fast hardcore music tend to be pretty intelligent people.
Well, there's let me just say something first. I agree with that. I'm not totally into that. I am my style is more of like here's this can I tell you a story? I went to Boston. I heard this band, saw the band The Queers, one of my favorite bands. I sang with them, Screeching Weasel, and then all of a sudden I come back to Albuquerque and I go to Richard Agee's fucking house. And in the window, there's a band playing. In the window, I hear it. And I'm like, that's my sound. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to bring back to fucking Albuquerque. Because everything else is like New Mexican hardcore and all this, and which is great. And then it was fucking Scared of Chaka.
And that's who it
I
was?
was like, I was like, what? I was like, this is, I was gonna bring this back here. And it was Scared of Chaka. So whatever. And I've worked with Dave. Let me tell you something. Have you interviewed Dave?
Haven't. I would love to.
Let me tell you something. I got two things to say. First of all, I worked with him later on in years as a courier. We served subpoenas together.
Ooh.
Yeah. His name is
Eh.
Yanul David Hernandez. And we say WNGI 703 to Dave. He'd be like, go ahead. And yeah,
Uh,
and we serve subpoenas. We put notices on eviction notices on doors. We fucking oh my god! And then this other guy, Chavo, I don't know if you heard of him. He was in there
uh-huh.
too. So it was like the punk rock like secure or like delivery service.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Of
And
all the people to come serve you with papers.
yeah, yeah. And then the guy Steve Chavo, he served this one guy. He was a taxi driver. He lived up way up on Tramway or something. Served the paper. The next day, that guy got he like stabbed his customers.
Damn.
But
Okay.
to
Wow.
go through those years, I was just like, I'm still trying to like figure out the band. That's when we started rollover, and then we played with our first. I think our first show we opened up for DI. Then
What year was that?
oh god, I don't know. It was like 19. It was 2000. So I graduated 95. It had to be like 96, 97,
Okay.
98 maybe.
Okay.
Oh, the first, yeah, it had to be around there. Because then we also opened up for Suicidal Tendencies. And that crowd didn't like us at all. They were like, but our green room, Suicidal had a green room that was all like buckets and shit of like just everything like you could want. And then there's one bucket was just all like non-alcoholic beers. And then there was the regular beers. And there was like oysters and shit. I don't know. And those guys, when they got out of their car, they unloaded gym equipment and started working out like in the middle of the street. And we're like, what the fuck are you doing? This car is trying to get around here.
Whatever they want.
And then we played, and so I told Mike Meir, I think, we were in there, and our room was just small, and we had I think just a little 2 packs of hot Corona in the corner. They had this whole thing. And so we were like, oh, I went out there and I was like, hey, can I get a beer? And the guy's like, as Mike Muir, he's like, hands me an old Duels. And I go, really? And he's like, just kidding. And then I grabbed a couple of beers, took them back to our green room. And then this dude, and then my friend Brian, I think, yeah, Ryan, our bass player, Mudflap, he's like, hey, that's the guy who started Skull Skates. And I go, I open the door, I go, I had a Skull Skates board once. And all those dudes looked at me and I said, snapped it first day.
Nah.
And they all got all hurt. But that's what I did. I took my launch ramp and I snapped it. And my first day, my mom like got so mad at me. And yeah, snapped that. I'm an artist now. I worked in the film industry forever. Since 2006, Wild Hogs is my first show. After that, I was just like, boom. But then it's like feast and famine. And then one day it was famine. And I said, I'm going to go back to my art.
Good for you.
Whatever. I need something fun to do. And my whole family's into cars. Classic cars,
Really?
old cars, like
Really?
some cars I can't even talk about right now. But I did this thing. I do open road rally racing.
Okay.
And so it's like Cannonball Run. My Texas story is one of our trips, a second one I went on. We ended up in Austin for the night, and we got to the hotels, all the cars are parked, and then now everyone just went their own ways to do their shit because we got a long drive. It's a 2,000-mile run, and all of a sudden, Cannonball Run style, all of a sudden, some dickheads started shit with the guy who puts on the rally's wife. And he's like, starts calling her names and shit. And then all of a sudden, there's other rally dudes that were around. And then the husband like came out and he's like, boom. And I was like, oh, here it goes. And then all of a sudden, all the rally drivers go in and they start fucking up the suit, but not like how we did in Albuquerque. They were saying, "Hey,
Okay.
haul ass," because no, we got to drive. We got 2,000 more miles to go. And then all of a sudden, so that's Austin, but oh my God, that place is crazy. And I couldn't get back to my car. And at that time in Austin, I think my brother, Charlie, was a co-driver. And so we finally get a ride back with these rockabilly chicks in a fucking sweet ass convertible. I don't even know what it was. And I should, because my family's car people. I think it was a Cadillac. I don't know, but it was this rockabilly chick. And she's like, I was like, you want to see some cool cars? She's like, always. And I was married at the time, so I wasn't hitting on her, but I was like, using my, like, you want to see some cool cars? To get a ride back. We get back, and oh my God, that chick, like, lost her mind. She's like, Ferrari, McLaren,
Yeah.
Mercedes. Like, she's like,
Wow.
what the fuck? And me and my brother, we get
Wow.
out. Me and my brother get out, and then we see this one team who's from Santa Fe who is just weird practical jokes are a thing. And he put this one car, he had sticky notes all over it. And the next car next to him, he had gay porn, like cutouts. The whole car, it was a Porsche GT3 RS, right?
Had
And
it
it just had gay
covered.
porn all over it. And then the first year we went, my car we went out the next day, we got our packets and like, go, go. And I get out, my whole car was surrounded by a saran wrap. So I was like, fuck. So I took my keys and get out and get on it. And then, so, anyways, that being said, like, that's what I did for a while. And that was my passion to do that. I even went on my last run I went on. I don't know if anyone's talked about this guy, but the last run I went on, my co driver was this guy, Darren Holtum, Dr. Darren Holtum. He's a dentist now. He was my co driver. And
Okay.
he was an old school punk rocker from Albuquerque. And, but anyone I deal with now, they don't understand that whole thing because everything else is about music and just whatever. And now everyone's gotten older. But that was my passion. I don't have a car anymore to do that shit in, but that was my passion. Like these people play music for their passion. That was my passion. It's like you don't know if you're gonna like die or not or get arrested forever. And then now I'm back here and I'm like started picking up my guitar again. And I really don't play guitar. I play power chords. I'm a singer. I'm a front man, but it all goes back to the Hellcats. It all goes back to like every band I've seen in Albuquerque in train like back in the day when I was before I even drove. Maybe I was 15. There was like a train by the Uncle Cliffs. There was storage unit, but it was all old box cars. And this band would play in there. Brain Erosion. I bet none of you motherfuckers know Brain Erosion. And they would play in there. It was crazy. And then like bands would play. Even Pepsi Generation I seen in one of those fucking boxcar shows with Ian Parks. And then like later on, I came everything's chill now. I paint art. I'm trying to do music. It's just like not working out, but I'm still like doing my thing. But I'm just there's some stories though, especially with my man Luke Schmaltz.
Okay.
Here's what the deal was with Luke on like Friday or something. We'd be like, "Hey, you want to hang out?" He's like, "Well, I got something to do," and I'll be like, "So do I, but I'm gonna be at your house at midnight." So we'd go do our own things, but we'd meet at midnight at Luke Schmaltz's house. And then we'd be like, he's like, "Well, I'm still gonna go do this," and I could be like, "I'm still gonna do this, but we're gonna crash here later." Or we go hang out and do whatever, climbing trees, drinking beers. Who knows? I didn't smoke pot then. Everyone else I knew did. I didn't smoke pot till college, freshman year.
In Boston. You left New Mexico and took up smoking weed in Boston.
Yeah, my first roommate was like, he's like, "Hey, dude," he's from Medway. His name is, yeah, whatever. And he was like, "Dude, I'm gonna smoke this," and I'm like, my whole thing was not about that. It was about getting in trouble. So
Okay. All right.
my whole thing in life was about not getting in trouble. And
Okay.
so I was like, and I told him, I said, "Don't fucking smoke that in here." I said, "I'm allergic to that shit." He's like, "God," and then later on one day. I went to the room. Everyone was hanging out in this guy's room, and I went in and knocked on the door. Everyone was freaking out on me because I had like a bald head. I got fucking Oxford Doc Martens on, bleached jeans. I'm walking in like, "What's up, guys?" And then I got this hit of fucking pod. Oh, it was over. It was over. This chick that lived upstairs, I went immediately up there all fucked up. I said, "Can I borrow your guitar and your amp for a second?" And she's like, "Yeah," because everyone loved me, except for those dudes. And I went and that's when I started the Skegs, the band the Skegs. And yeah, and after that, I was just like, fuck it, man. All I want to do is just play fucking punk rock music. I listen to every kind of music, but all I want to do is play that. But these people, it's in Albuquerque, you had these people that were with you. And when nothing was going on, we all fought amongst ourselves. And that was kind of weird. And somebody we know had a house on Columbia. It was the punk house. We went there every. It was the thing. Oh my God, it's Friday. Let's go to Columbia. Richard Agee's house, and it was the best thing in the world. It's like I will never regret that. And then it got to Thursday and Friday, and then it got to like every day you just go over. But it was like
Richard's
Friday night
house.
going to Richards, and there was so much shit going on there, and there's a lot of shit that went on there. But it was I wouldn't change it for the world, except for when the cops raided the place. But I'm not. I was in the alley in a couple houses back trying to get a kiss from a lady.
And you missed that. So
But
that's good.
yeah, so yeah, thank God. But I mean, anyways, yeah, the Albuquerque scene is really cool because we are located here, but we had people like Bill Stevenson from the Descendants, like we're friends, and random people. I don't know if they want me to mention them, but random people are just like they come through, and it's like wow. And like I told you earlier, like back in the day, some random bands like the I didn't want to say their names, but they were like, I woke up, go to work, and they're on my floor. And like lock the door when you leave. Like I didn't care, Like, you guys rich. Leave me a record. Yeah, that was back when leave me a record. Not a tape,
Leave
not a
me a
CD.
record. Leave me.
So I was in Rollover 45, and we played a lot with the band called the Psychodrama, but now they were called the
Hmm.
Eyeliners. I think they were like the female version of our band
Okay.
because because Joe Bryan dated the drummer, singer drummer, and I think that they stole our shit. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
no. Oh,
It's all the
you're
same
gonna make them
song,
watch.
man. No, it's all the same song. Those ladies ripped, and it was so cool. And just
I heard
playing,
about
I
them, the
was
eyeliners.
yeah, they were good. They were your sisters. They were from Berlin, and they played. I mean, just they were awesome. They
You
were
like
great.
them.
You have
And
to. I
that
don't
was
know.
the
Just
90s.
yeah.
Okay.
So then, like later on, before that, here's the story. Before that, I remember I was talking about my friend Luke Schmaltz. We'd always go to the Big Apple and like whatever, and the Descendants were playing their last show, right?
In the
So we went.
90s.
Yeah. No. Well, I graduated high school in 1990, so it had to been like 88, 89. I could be wrong,
Okay.
but it was their last show. And so I remember going there and I hassled, I heckled. Here's where my book comes in about backstage passports. So I was there. I was a kid. I was 14, 15. I got every record they had, the merch table, every tape, every record, every shirt, the white shirt, the blue shirt, the black shirt, and then everything. Because the guy's like, just get the fuck out of here. Because punk rock has been going on for a lot longer than I've been around. I was born in 1971. It was just interesting to see these different waves in different parts of the city. So you got people over here in the Heights, right? Like the Boydens, Jay Riker, all these guys. Everyone's from the Heights. Then you had the downtown people. They lived in the university area. And then when shows happened, everyone kind of united and like did this thing. And then when outsiders came in, they would fight. But when outsiders came in, it was like, what? Bam! And then outsiders are gone. Now let's fight with each other again. I never made sense to me. Never made sense to me. I think the
I
only
just think
reason
of
why
the.
people, I think the only reason why people kept me around in Boston too is they gave me so much shit and they kept coming back. And then they tell me, they said, dude, we gave you so much goddamn shit and you kept coming back. And they're like, this is before Knuckles. It was just like boom and a hug. And I was like, you know. And even in Albuquerque, it was like there were some people I was kind of scared of every time I saw, whether it be at the Frontier or what. I'm not gonna name names, but those motherfuckers,
You don't have
you
to.
know, they
You don't
scared
have to
me.
tell me.
They were
Yeah.
trying to steal shit from me. They were trying to steal shit from me back in the day, you know. Nowadays, I'm worried. Nowadays, that was nothing. Nowadays, I'm worried about some little fucking 13-year-old shooting me with a gun, dude, that he doesn't even know how to use. But
That's rather likely too.
so Sunday, from 12 to 4 in Old Town. It's like 303 Rio Grande. It's called the Expressions. And yeah, it's been up for a month. I already sold the painting. And then I'm working on a project for the mayor right now. And so, yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing next week. Well, next week is just be concentrating on that. And then it's going to be my life for next week.
That's
And it's not
okay.
going to be, it's going to be fun, but it's not going to be fun because I'm going to stress. But I always do that when I paint. And my closing show is Sunday. Then I have another show in Santa Fe on Saturday next week. But that's just for a day. But I still have a bunch of stuff at Mariposa. And that's all I do now is art. I don't work in the film industry anymore.
Hmm.
I loved it, but I love to hate it too. And I've met everyone, but I don't care. I'm not a star fucker. I don't care. I did
Well,
locations. I did locations. Then I also did craft service. And then I'm also a SAG actor. I did stunts back in the day. Now I'm like skinny guy, my diabetes, but
oh,
no, I did
oh.
stunts. That's how I got my SAG card. But yeah, my dream job was to be a stunt driver, and they've already got people. Like you can't get into it. They've already got their guys, and why would you give a newbie a job for a $20 million movie when you already know your guys can do it? Yeah, that sounds great. So I guess I'm not gonna be a stunt driver for the movies.
That's okay. Looks like you found a few other things to do.
Just we were having clean fun. We drank some beers at night in a tree. We go hike up in a tree at his neighbor's house. This chick, Chris, I think her name is Christy. She was hot, and we go climb her tree and just drink beers in there. And then like I just miss those days. And then yeah, that would be after a show. We go see a show in some random storefront. Storefront shows are the best. I'd rather see a store. I'd rather play a storefront show than a fucking like big old music hall with thousands of people. A storefront show. I've seen No Effects at a storefront show, Green Day at a storefront show. I've seen like we played a storefront show, but that wasn't on purpose. And then we only got one song in, and that's a different story. Not
Oh,
we were clean. We fucked shit up, but we didn't go shooting people. We didn't go stabbing people. We didn't. We just. We just. We might have filled up a case of beer with gasoline because we ran out of fireworks and like had a whole riot on
no.
on.
Oh,
Oh, we had a fire.
no,
It was
it's
Fourth of July on Columbia. No, Cornell by the frontier, and we had the house. I think. What was that band? I could be wrong. Sublime. Sublime was in the house, and they were on a circle playing. They played a show that night, but they're in the circle playing acoustic, and they're singing a song. And we're sitting there, and these dudes started like having a bottle rocket war. And so we went out with bottle rockets. Sublime's still sitting in there, like, what the fuck, Albuquerque? And then all of a sudden, we're like, fuck that. So a couple people went over to Vickers. It was Vickers at the time, and they went and filled up a case of beer of gasoline, and then we fucking made Molotov cocktails. And so when those guys came back, that whole street from Nunzio's all the way to fucking Silver was on fire.
was on fire.
And those
Yes,
dudes were still trying to, and the cops couldn't even come down the street. Fire department couldn't even come down the street. And then we all went back in the house. And then we're sitting there waiting for everything to go down. And then all of a sudden, like, you hear the knock on the door, and APD is like, oh, and Jace has blue hair. And the cop starts laughing. The street's still on fire, kind of.
oh
It's kind of
no.
smoldering out. And Sublime's still playing in the floor, their little jam session. And I'm just going, fuck, I don't want to get in trouble. And then the cop's like, oh, what? And just like, yeah, these long haired rocker dudes fucking start throwing shit at us. And we're just sitting here trying to go to sleep and stuff. And the cops started laughing at his hair. And they're like, okay, Mr. Holberg, and we don't want you to come back here in the street. You can still see the street still smoldering down. And we're all just like, what the fuck? And then the door shuts, and I'm sitting there like looking for a way out. I got to get home, dude. I can't. And that was pretty much
Yeah,
it
I
for that
know.
night. But
Yeah, I
but it
know.
was intense. We ran out of fireworks. So what did we do? So we didn't go shooting. We didn't go around shooting people. We didn't go flash guns.
No, no.
We were just punk rockers, man. And
Well,
we
it's
just throw
nice.
some fists sometimes. But I didn't. Uh, I I didn't like to get hit in the face. I've been hit
No,
in the
no,
face. It's not fun. But I
no.
just like the music. And let me tell you something, right?